Hey everyone. Welcome to AfriHeart Stories, your go-to spot for African tales. Don't forget to like, subscribe and drop a comment. Now sit back and enjoy. The morning sun filtered through the tall glass windows of the Adeyemi's luxurious Lekki mansion. Amira Adeyemi, wife of powerful real estate mogul Darien Adeyemi, moved briskly around the kitchen. Her old chef had suddenly resigned 2 days prior, claiming personal emergency. So when Darien suggested someone new, highly recommended, Amira didn't hesitate. "Madam, she's here," the housekeeper said softly. Amira turned and in walked Sonia. She was striking. Dark skin like roasted coffee, deep-set eyes that didn't blink too often, and a quiet confidence that almost felt invasive. "Good morning, Ma," Sonia said, bowing slightly. "I'm grateful for the opportunity." Amira smiled politely. "We'll see how grateful you are once you've handled Sunday brunch." Sonia chuckled. "I make a peppered goat stew that'll change your life." Darien walked in just then, already in his workout gear. "Morning, ladies." Amira turned to him. "Meet Sonia, the new chef you told me about." Darien's eyes briefly met Sonia's. A flicker. Something odd. Then he smiled. "Ah yes. Welcome, Sonia. Make sure my wife eats. She's always skipping meals." Sonia lowered her eyes. "Yes, sir." That night, the scent of grilled tilapia, jollof rice and coconut curry wafted through the halls. Amira was impressed. Sonia was efficient, quiet, respectful. Almost too quiet. And yet, Amira couldn't shake off a chill when Sonia walked past her. The next morning, Amira found Sonia already up, cleaning the kitchen floor. "You're dedicated," she remarked. Sonia smiled. "Only the best for Madam." Amira nodded, turning toward the pantry. "By the way, where did you say you trained?" Sonia froze, but only for a second. "Oh, a private culinary school in Ibadan. Not famous but intense." Amira raised a brow. "Interesting. I didn't know Darien knew any chefs." Sonia straightened. "We met through a former employer of his. Darien never mentioned that." Amira noted it silently. Later that evening, Amira walked into Darien's study. She was searching for a book when she saw something out of place, a crumpled napkin on his desk. She picked it up absently, intending to toss it. It had a lipstick stain. A deep wine-red shade. Amira frowned. She returned to the kitchen where Sonia was slicing pineapples. The same wine-red lipstick shimmered on her lips. Their eyes met. Sonia didn't flinch. "Pretty shade," Amira said casually. "Thank you. Got it from a boutique in Yaba." "Looks familiar," Amira murmured. That night, Amira lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Darien had dozed off beside her. Her instincts twitched. Something was off. Sonia was too perfect, too precise. The lipstick. The familiarity. Her presence in the house had changed the air somehow. She turned to Darien. "How did you really find her?" He didn't open his eyes. "Told you. A contact. She's good, right?" Amira paused. Good, yes. But sometimes good hides dangerous." Darien chuckled in his sleep. But downstairs, Sonia stood in the hallway, silently watching their bedroom door through the slightly ajar kitchen passage. Smiling. Amira stood at her vanity mirror the next morning, dabbing her lips with a soft peach gloss. But her mind wasn't on makeup. It was on Sonia, and that wine-red lipstick. Downstairs, the smell of baked plantains drifted from the kitchen. Sonia greeted her cheerfully, serving her freshly blended mango juice. "You slept well, Ma?" "Eventually," Amira replied, sipping slowly. "You're up early again." "I enjoy mornings," Sonia said with a smile. Amira nodded but said nothing more. She left the glass half full. Later that afternoon, Amira visited her best friend, Kemi. They sat by the poolside sipping zobo. "I don't trust that chef," Amira whispered. "Why?" "She's too familiar. Like she already knows my husband. I found lipstick on his napkin last night, and guess what color she wears?" Kemi raised an eyebrow. "You think Darien's cheating?" "I don't know," Amira sighed. "But something's wrong. I feel watched in my own home." Kemi leaned closer. "You want me to look into her background?" Amira hesitated, then nodded. "Please." Back at the mansion, Sonia moved through the kitchen like a shadow. She wore gloves as she cleaned, but paused when she spotted the pantry key hanging from a hook. Smiling, she took it and slipped into the walk-in pantry. Carefully, she pulled out a bottle of skin cream, Amira's favorite, imported from France. Sonia reached into her apron and removed a small vial with a clear substance. One drop, then two. She stirred gently and returned the bottle like nothing happened. That night, Amira applied her lotion and immediately felt a tingle. Minutes later, she screamed from the bathroom. Darien ran in, shocked to find her face red and blistering. What the hell happened? I don't know, Amira cried. It's burning. He called their doctor, who arrived in minutes. This is a chemical reaction, he said, examining her skin. Possibly something corrosive. Sonia stood at the bathroom door, towel in hand. Oh my God, Ma. Should I get aloe vera? Amira, wrapped in a towel, looked at her. Did you touch my lotion? Sonia gasped. Me? No, Ma. I only cleaned the shelf. Amira stared at her, uncertain. Later that night, Kemi called. I asked someone to look into Sonia. No registered culinary school under her name. The ID she submitted? Suspicious. Amira's heart thudded. And still, the chef smiled and served breakfast the next morning like nothing had happened. Rain poured down in sheets as Amira flipped through a dusty old photo album in Darien's office. She was searching for their wedding invitation design for a magazine feature when something fluttered out of an envelope. A torn photograph. It was old, faded, but unmistakably Darien stood in it. Arm wrapped around a woman, her face partially ripped off. Amira stared at it, her fingers trembling. The pose was intimate, familiar, romantic. She took the photo to Kemi the next morning. Can you help me enhance this? Kemi squinted at it. Who do you think she is? That's the problem. I don't know, but something in my gut says I should. Meanwhile, Sonia was busy in the kitchen. She had begun observing Amira's routines. What time she showered. When she used her lotion. When she ate alone. She watched closely. Later that evening, Sonia sneaked into Amira's room while she was downstairs. She opened the drawer with lotions and serums. This time she targeted Amira's lip balm. A knock at the door startled her. It was Kemi. Sonia composed herself, hiding the vial. Ma, you called? Yes, Amira answered, walking in behind her. We're eating light tonight. Something with vegetables. Of course, Sonia replied. I'll make a stir-fry. That night, Amira's lips tingled again, but not severely. She ran to the mirror, heart pounding. No swelling. But she knew what she felt. The next morning, Kemi sent a message. I enhanced the photo. You won't believe who it is. Amira opened the file, and froze. It was Sonia. A younger version, but unmistakable. What is she doing in my house? The photograph haunted Amira all day. She barely spoke during breakfast. Sonia served her a spinach and goat meat omelette with a side of avocado, smiling as if nothing was wrong. Amira stared at the plate, suddenly nauseated. Kemi showed up unannounced later that morning. Did you confront Darien yet? She asked as the two sat in the gazebo. Not yet, Amira said. He's been gone since last night. Claimed he was at a meeting. Kemi scoffed. A meeting at 11 p.m.? Inside the mansion, Sonia overheard. Later that evening, Amira's face began to swell again. Not badly, but enough to feel irritated. She called the doctor. It's likely chemical again, he said, concerned. It's like someone is testing you. The word struck Amira hard. Testing. She walked into the kitchen, eyes fierce. Sonia was cleaning up. What cream did you use to clean the shelves? Amira asked. Sonia turned slowly. Just vinegar, Ma. Natural stuff. Amira walked to the pantry and opened every container. Nothing unusual. Until she saw the gloves. Hidden under a tray. Inside one glove, burn marks. Amira froze. She didn't say a word. That night she couldn't sleep. Her face itched, her heart pounded. And somewhere down the hall, Sonia watched her bedroom door again. Eyes wide open. The next morning, Amira decided to fast. She announced it casually during a brief kitchen meeting. No food for me today. Just water. Sonia blinked. Of course, Ma. But she still prepared breakfast. Pap with milk, grilled plantains, and a spiced porridge. Just in case you change your mind, she said with a grin. Amira took the tray and passed it to the housemaid, Funmi. Give this to the driver. He's been working non-stop. Funmi nodded and left the kitchen. Moments later, a scream pierced the air. Amira dropped her cup. They all rushed outside to find Funmi rolling on the ground, clutching her mouth and throat. Her lips blistered, her tongue red and raw. She didn't even eat it, the driver shouted. She only tasted it. Panic erupted. Darien arrived minutes later, demanding answers. Sonia dropped to the floor, fainting on cue. The staff scrambled. Someone called the ambulance. But Amira didn't faint. She stood frozen, glaring. And behind her, Kemi whispered, one of the maids saw Sonia in the kitchen earlier. Alone. She said she dropped something in the food. Amira's face hardened. The game had changed. The house was in chaos. Funmi was rushed to the hospital with severe chemical burns. Darien paced restlessly while Amira sat stone-faced, arms folded. Sonia, now suddenly revived from her fainting spell, sobbed in the corner. I swear I didn't do anything. Kemi leaned against the wall, watching her. So how did acid end up in the porridge? I don't know. Maybe one of the staff. Kemi cut her off. You were alone in the kitchen this morning. Darien raised his hands. Everyone calmed down. It could have been an accident. Amira shot him a sharp glare. An accident with sulfuric acid? She stormed off to the security room. 10 minutes later, the footage played on the TV in Darien's office. Sonia could be seen reaching into her apron pocket and bending over the porridge pot. She could be seasoning it, Darien insisted. She didn't season anything else with that vial, Amira replied. And where is the vial now? Silence. Kemi whispered to Amira, do you remember that photo? She's not just a stranger. That woman was part of his past. Amira turned to Sonia. Who are you really? Sonia's eyes flickered. I told you. No, Amira said coldly. I want your full name. Your real name. Darien stepped between them. Enough. Amira, you're being paranoid. Kemi narrowed her eyes. You're protecting her. Sonia started sobbing again. I didn't mean to, I didn't do anything. The next morning Sonia was gone. Her room was empty. Her uniform folded on the bed. And her apron, missing. The hospital called. Funmi had regained consciousness, but her mouth was badly injured. The doctor insisted Amira come in to talk. At the hospital the doctor shut the door behind them. Mrs. Adeyemi, the chemical in the food wasn't common cleaning acid. It was industrial-grade sulfuric acid. Someone meant to harm. Amira's breath caught. Not a mistake then. Definitely not. This was premeditated. When she returned home, Kemi was waiting. I made a few calls, Kemi said. There's no Sonia Ibekwe in the culinary school registry. But there is a Sonia Atanda. Darien's ex-girlfriend from before you married. Amira's heart dropped. She vanished after he broke up with her. There were rumors, obsessive behavior, stalking. But Darien never told you that, did he? Amira stood silent, trembling. That evening, Darien came home, loosening his tie like everything was fine. Amira confronted him. Who is Sonia Atanda? His eyes went wide for a moment, then narrowed. Where did you hear that name? She cooked in my kitchen. Slept in my guest room. You brought her into my home. I didn't know it was her. You lie like it's air, Amira hissed. Darien grabbed his coat. I'm leaving before you say something stupid. She let him walk out. But deep down she knew, Sonia wasn't finished. Kemi was done playing defense. If the police won't act, we will, she said, placing a tiny recording device inside her handbag. She'll slip. She arranged a ladies-only spa brunch at an exclusive retreat, and invited Sonia through a burner number. Sonia arrived, disguised in a simple scarf and shades. Why am I here? She asked, arms folded. Kemi smiled sweetly. I just wanted to talk. No cameras. No Amira. Just me and you. They drank fruit smoothies. Kemi pretended to be sympathetic. I know you loved him, Kemi whispered. Darien, he plays women. You didn't deserve this. Sonia's eyes softened. He promised he'd leave her. Kemi leaned closer. And when he didn't? Sonia looked down. He'll regret it. Kemi smiled. Good. When Sonia went to the restroom, Kemi reached into her bag and grabbed the lip gloss and sanitizer tube. She slipped them into a sealed pouch. Later, the lab results confirmed the sanitizer had acid traces. They had her. But when Amira and Kemi arrived with police to arrest Sonia the next morning, she was gone. Her motel room, empty. Only a lipstick stain on the mirror remained with one word. Yours. The motel clerk remembered Sonia, under a false name, Adeyabi. She left in the middle of the night. No luggage. Sonia had vanished. But her mind was full of rage. She watched the mansion from a distance, parked in a rundown Corolla with tinted windows. Her eyes scanned the windows, the gates, the garden. Her fingers traced the edge of a knife in her lap. Flashbacks haunted her, Darien kissing her on his office desk, whispering, Soon, baby. I'll leave her. I promise. That promise was 2 years old. She waited, stalked, plotted, until the day she heard Amira needed a new chef. Perfect, she whispered. But Amira had surprised her. Strong. Smart. Not the clueless society woman she'd expected. Now Sonia wasn't just jealous. She was obsessed. "This isn't over," she murmured to her cracked mirror. "Not yet." She tightened her scarf and started the engine. The house loomed in her rear view. She was going back. It was 3 a.m. when someone banged on Amira's gate. The guards opened to find Darien, disheveled, shirt half-buttoned, eyes bloodshot. "She's back," he said, voice trembling. "Sonia." Amira didn't let him inside. "She's been back," she said coldly. "I just saw her outside my apartment," Darien continued. "She's not well. She said she'll ruin both of us." Kemi emerged from the guest room. "You mean she'll expose you?" Darien sighed and sat on the front steps. "I was stupid. The affair started 2 years ago. I broke it off. But she didn't let go. You brought her into my house," Amira spat. "You let her poison me." "I didn't know she was that unhinged," he shouted. "She said she was moving on." "And you believed her?" Kemi said. "You don't get to cry victim now." Darien looked up. "I'm scared." "You should be," Amira whispered. Because unknown to all of them, Sonia was already back inside. And this time she wasn't hiding. The mansion was on lockdown. Amira hired private security, changed all locks, and had a motion detection system installed. But even with all that, Sonia still found her way back in. It started with a wine bottle. One of the housekeepers found it slightly uncorked, resting in the back of the pantry. An expensive label, Chateau Noir. Imported. Rare. Meant for a celebration. Amira's heart dropped. "I didn't order this," she said. Kemi picked it up, inspecting the seal. "It's been tampered with." Suspicious, they reviewed the new camera feed. The footage was grainy but clear enough. A masked woman, petite, gloved, slipped into the pantry late at night. She opened the wine, poured something in, and resealed it. "Who else has access?" the security chief asked. "No one but staff," Amira replied. "But she was fired," Kemi said. "This is breaking and entering." Still, Amira remained calm. Until she noticed a familiar scarf on the figure's neck. It was the same one Sonia wore at the spa brunch. "This ends now," Amira said, staring at the screen. She picked up the wine and set it on the dining table. "Set a dinner for tomorrow night. For 3. The dining room sparkled with soft gold lighting and polished cutlery. Darien arrived first, confused but obedient. "I thought we were done," he muttered. "You'll want to be here," Amira said, pouring the wine. "It's a peace dinner." He rolled his eyes. "Since when do we do peace dinners?" The doorbell rang. The butler opened it, and in walked a waitress. Hair tucked. Mask on. Eyes focused. Amira smiled slightly. The woman served the plates and poured more wine. Amira didn't touch hers. Darien lifted his glass. "What are we toasting?" "To truth," Amira replied. Suddenly, the server snatched Darien's glass from his hand and drank it herself. Darien stood up, stunned. "Sonia?" She pulled off her mask slowly, smiling. "I came to finish what I started." Seconds passed. Then Sonia's smile faded. Her throat itched. Her lips burned. What did you do?" Amira leaned forward. "That wine had no poison. But it had a marker, detects trace elements of acid. Your lips will glow under UV light." The security chief switched on a UV torch. Sonia's mouth glowed a brilliant blue. Gasps filled the room. Cameras flashed. "You're done," Amira said coldly. But Sonia bolted before they could grab her. Again. The estate gates were shut, but Sonia was fast. She climbed the back fence and vanished into the night. Police arrived 10 minutes later. "She's clever," one officer said. "And dangerous." Amira shook with rage. "She was in my home. Again." Darien was quiet for once. Kemi paced. "That wine trick was genius." But she slipped through again. The next morning, the staff discovered Sonia's scarf on a tree branch near the fence. But that wasn't the most shocking part. In the kitchen, the pantry had been disturbed again. A note was pinned to the shelf with a knife. "You only exposed my lips. You haven't seen what's in my heart." It sent chills down Amira's spine. Worse still, the footage from the previous night had been corrupted. "She knew where the camera was," the security chief said. "She covered the lens with oil." Darien cursed. "She's always one step ahead." "Not anymore," Amira whispered. "I want her caught. No more surprises." But Sonia wasn't running. She was planning her final show. And this time it would be fire. It was quiet. Too quiet. 3 days passed with no sign of Sonia. Then one afternoon, Amira's car exploded. The alarm had gone off just moments before, just enough time for the guards to rush out. Thankfully no one was hurt. But the message was clear. Sonia had escalated. CCTV caught her approaching in broad daylight, face covered, lighter in hand. She poured something into the fuel tank and lit it. Kemi watched the footage in horror. She doesn't care anymore. She wants war. That night, Amira doubled the guards. She moved into the guest wing with Kemi. But Sonia wasn't done. She returned after midnight, creeping through the shadows with a blade. Kemi, awakened by footsteps, stepped into the hallway, just in time. The two women collided. Sonia slashed Kemi's arm, sending her to the ground. But Kemi fought back, ripping off the scarf. Security rushed in. Cameras clicked. Sonia was finally caught. Face exposed. Bloodied and handcuffed, Sonia was shoved into the back of a police van. But she didn't scream. Or cry. She smiled. Her lips bruised, her teeth stained, she still managed to smirk as she locked eyes with Amira. "You think you've won?" she whispered. "I'm not the only one you should fear." Amira's stomach twisted. What does that mean? But Sonia refused to say more. At the station she refused food. Refused to speak. Except one thing, when asked if she wanted to call a lawyer, she said, "Check my bag." Inside was a small USB stick. No label. Just taped with her fingerprint. When investigators plugged it in, they froze. The folder contained audio recordings. Dozens of them. Labeled things like, Darien, offer. Insurance, plan. Kill her, yes or no. Amira stared at the screen. Her hands trembled. Whatever was on that drive might destroy more than just Sonia. It might destroy Darien. The police forensics team uploaded the USB contents into their database. Amira sat in the cold station office, staring at the screen with folded arms. The first audio file clicked on. Darien's voice. If anything happened to her, hypothetically, her life insurance would pay out more than her shares. You know that, right? Amira's eyes widened. Another recording. Sonia, so you want her gone? Darien, I didn't say that. I just want peace. And money. Kemi turned to Amira, her arm bandaged. He planned it? This whole thing? Amira shook her head slowly, lips pressed tight. He's the one who gave her access to me. The pantry, the kitchen, all of it. A third clip. Darien, just make it look like she slipped. Or food poisoning. Something simple. Silence settled in the room. Amira stood. I want these sent to my lawyer, she said. The officer nodded. We'll start proceedings immediately. And ma'am, you should consider protective custody. Amira blinked. No. I'm not hiding anymore. She walked out of the station with new eyes. Cold. Focused. Darien hadn't just betrayed her. He had plotted her death. And now, she would bury him with the truth. The lawsuit hit the headlines instantly. CEO wife files charges of conspiracy to murder and fraud against husband. Darien tried to play innocent. His lawyers claimed the recordings were manipulated. But the timestamps, background noise, and consistent voice patterns made denial difficult. Amira arrived at court in a bold white suit, head high, lips unshaken. Kemi walked beside her, steady. Darien showed up, surrounded by press. His once perfect reputation crumbled under the weight of headlines. Amira took the stand. She told everything. From the suspicious lipstick, to the acid, to the files. The courtroom sat in stunned silence. When it was Darien's turn, he blamed everything on Sonia. She was obsessed. I tried to stop her. But then came the bombshell. Bank records. Sonia had received deposits from Darien's offshore account. I paid her off to disappear, he shouted. Or to finish the job quietly, Amira responded from her seat. In the end, the judge froze his accounts and ordered further investigations. Amira didn't want revenge. She wanted justice. And control. She filed for partial ownership of the company due to fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. And won. She took over the charity arm, and its board seat. Darien? He was left with frozen assets and burning shame. 3 weeks later, a letter arrived at Amira's doorstep. No return address. Just her name scrawled in red ink. Kemi hesitated. You want me to read it first? Amira opened it herself. It was from Sonia. I loved him. He made promises. He begged me to get rid of you. He said I'd be safe. But I never was. I recorded everything. But even I didn't realize he had a backup plan. If I got caught, he'd let me burn. You weren't the only one he played. Amira closed the letter, heart pounding. Could it be true? Had Sonia been used just as cruelly? Later that night, she confronted Darien in court lobby. You told her to kill me? He scoffed. She was delusional. Yet you paid her. Darien's face twitched. What do you want, Amira? She leaned in. Freedom. From your name. From your lies. He didn't respond. But the tremble in his jaw said enough. Amira changed her phone number. Moved out of the mansion. Bought a quiet home by the coast, just big enough to breathe. She sold her jewelry to fund a foundation. Taste of Truth. It supported women escaping manipulation, betrayal, and financial abuse. Kemi became her co-founder. We turned poison into purpose, Amira said during their first press conference. Applications poured in. Survivors came forward with stories like hers. Some worse. She felt alive again. She wore red lipstick now. The very shade Sonia once used to haunt her. Except now it wasn't fear. It was armor. She finalized her divorce quietly. No press. No tears. Darien tried to appeal the lawsuit, but the recordings held strong. He faded into silence. And Sonia? Sentenced to 12 years in prison. She tried to call once. Amira didn't answer. Some ghosts don't deserve resurrection. A talk show host sat across from Amira under soft lighting. Cameras rolled. You were poisoned, betrayed, and almost killed. Yet here you are. Amira smiled calmly. Yes, here I am. What kept you going? She looked at the camera. Knowing I wasn't alone. Knowing other women live in shadows, waiting for someone to speak up first. What would you tell Sonia if she were watching? Amira hesitated, then said, Thank you. The host blinked. Thank you? Yes, Amira said. You showed me what silence costs. What blind trust costs. You made me stronger. The clip went viral overnight. Women flooded the comment sections. I cried watching this. Her strength, chills. This isn't a story. It's a warning. In the final seconds of the interview, Amira said one line that sent shockwaves. She tried to poison me. But what she didn't know. I was already done letting others feed me lies. Liked it? Thumbs up, subscribe, and join the AfriHeart fam. Your support fuels our stories. Until next time.